Welcome to segment 14 in the Choose You This Day Whom You Will Serve series, the 2024 Summer Olympics Part 2. As we continue on, it is my prayer that you will see how Satan and his followers are truly trying to declare victory and gathering everybody together for their last effort to win and not be destroyed forever. So with that, we're going to continue on in the opening ceremony, and we're going to talk about the Feast of the Gods. And this is the one that got so much controversy that I feel hopefully it was God was able to use that to wake a lot of Christians up to see the seriousness of this. And they will tell you that it was not a mockery of the Last Supper, that they were trying to replicate this feast, which I truly believe that just like God told, had said on the cross, Father, forgive them for they know not what they're doing. And that is the case. Remember, Satan's a copycat, and therefore he will try to copy everything that is God's and that God has done. And so just how Jesus had a Last Supper, whether Satan knows it or not, he probably just portrayed that this is his Last Supper as well, and that he's getting ready to leave this earth completely, be wiped out for good. So with that, when Christians started to get upset and say that they were mocking the Last Supper, you will hear that many people said, no, we were just wanting to go back to the ancient gods and do the feast of Dionysus. And this is actually what started Jessica and I looking at this, because we wanted to see, okay, well, who is Dionysus? Who is this feast that they are lifting up? And in that, that's what they basically were doing. And so in that, Dionysus, just like Apollo, is known as another son of Zeus. And with that, he's known as the god of winemaking, orchards and fruit, insanity, ritual madness, and religious ecstasy. We see here that the Feast of the Gods was a painting that was done by a Dutch artist, and it was depicting the Greek gods of Olympus, and they were all crowded along a very long table, which we see the truth behind that. We see that in the middle, it was to represent the Greek god Apollo. Again, we talked about him earlier. And that sun halo, again, was to show that that's who that was. And then on the sides, you saw all kinds of drag queens and the LGBTQ, and they were representing the other gods. Again, to make that announcement that we are coming out and we are declaring victory, and we are here. We are here to stay. We are here to overcome. And then when you think of, you have Dionysus, he comes out on a platter for people, and he's the god of wine. Think about the Last Supper. We were to, as a representative, the wine and the bread were us, being part of the blood and body of Christ. And so again, that copycat that he comes out on this platter with wearing the crown and in that blue. And we heard in that one song, Freedom, in the political, they were going to change white flags blue. So when we see this, we see that they were proclaiming that they are out there and they're victorious. And I just want to read just a little bit, because there was a lot of feedback. Well, you have the leader of France, Emmanuel Macron, and I want to read just a little bit about what he said about the opening ceremony. He said that Macron went on to praise what was called Thomas Jolly's audacity, adding that the nation was proud of the Paris 2024 opening ceremony. The French were very proud of this ceremony, said Macron on the sidelines of a visit to Paris Olympic volunteers. France showed its audacity with the artistic freedom that it comes with. Jolly's daring art in the opening ceremony made many people happy. I bet it did. And then the mayor, she went on to say she gave her unwavering support to Jolly, saying in a statement that he held our values high. It was a proud and honor for Paris to be able to count on his talent to magnify our city and tell the world who we are. She added, Paris will always be on the side of the artist, of creation, and therefore on the side of freedom. And again, that freedom, that liberty, is to have liberty from God. And with that, we want to be able to understand that and see just the party and the madness and what is going on today, spreading it out to the world and letting them know we are here and we have arrived. Well, there were other things that went on, but like I said, for time's sake, we're not going to talk about them. Let's go to the closing ceremony. You didn't hear as much about it, but it had a lot of significance as well. And so at the beginning there, you had a replica of the world, and the rings were on the 5 different continents. And in that, there was the lights were flashing and there was much, much chaos. Well, out of that, here comes down the Golden Voyager. And he was going to get peace out of the chaos. And so what happened, the Golden Voyager represents La Genie de la Liberté, which this statue represents their freedom from God. And the Statue of Liberty is actually off of that as well. So we really don't realize, if you really want to start looking at our monuments and different things that we hold dear, and you can truly understand the background, I think you will be very surprised, very, very surprised. Well, we see that the Golden Voyager was presented the flag of Greece. Who was he presented it by? Those 2 people that were in the opening ceremony, the Assassin's Creed character, and also the one that was in, the medal on the horse. So what they did is they presented the Golden Voyager that flag. And he takes the flag and he plants it down in the Middle East. All right. And the kind of, that's where Paul and the early church really began. And then what you see is that you see these little creatures and they're going around and they are gathering those rings and they are bringing them together. And in the midst of the rings going up, the headless goddess Nike, the goddess of victory, comes out of the ground. And you see the Golden Voyager pay homage and then begins to celebrate dancing. There goes Apollo, the god of dance. And he has victory, bringing the world back together and bringing peace out of the chaos, bringing the world into one. And while this is happening, while they're doing all of this, the hymn to Apollo begins to play. And, as I kind of looked that up just a little bit, it talks about how it's a 400 line and it's teaching you how to worship the gods. And this pianist is playing this hymn on a suspended piano, or one that's levitated. And again, Apollo and Dionysus are both sons of Zeus. And so then what happens is you see them, the rings are now in place and you see them mount up all these little creatures into like a mountain, and on top you have the golden Voyager holding up the victory. It's something to think about. And then at the very end, we talked about Simone Biles. Well, she was in that closing ceremony because she was part of that ceremony where the Olympic flag was now passed off to Los Angeles, and it was given to the mayor, and she was there. And now that flag is in Los Angeles waiting for the 2028 Olympics. And so with this, again, I want us to really take a look and understand there was so much that took place in these ceremonies. But what they wanted to show you is that we will have victory. We will bring the world together as one. And you just see how this is just a setup for the Antichrist to be able to come in the chaos and say he's going to bring peace to the world. And so with that, in the next segment, what we're going to do is, I feel with all my heart that this Olympics with Satan in a duel, that when somebody wants a duel, they throw down the glove and say, let's challenge. And we're ready to fight. And we are determined we're going to be victorious. Well, in the next segment, you will see how you will know for sure, will you pick up that glove? And will you go out? And will you go and fight for God? But you're going to understand what it truly means and what it truly means to be 100% in. So this was just a piece of the ceremonies, because like I said, every single detail was orchestrated to have a theme. And, ask God for spiritual eyes to show you. So with that, next time, stay tuned for segment 15, where you will be challenged, where this is going to tie it all up, the end of this series. And will you accept the duel? Until then, go let God's light shine in the darkness.